It's Alex. He's cool.
How's it going, everybody? And welcome to Get in the Herd After Hours. After Hours. I'm your host, Alex Bond. I am a certified peer recovery specialist, medication and drug screen coordinator here at the wonderful McShin Foundation. Get in the Herd is a recovery podcast brought to you by the McShin Foundation. Most importantly, I am a person in sustained recovery from a substance use disorder, which means that for 15 months now, I have not found the need to put any mood or mind-altering substances in my body. Today, I have on with me Tyler and Luke. Tyler and Luke, how are you guys doing?
Good, man.
What's up,
How are
guys?
you?
What's up, Tyler? It's great to see you again, man.
Yeah, what's up? Over here holding it down in Arkansas, man.
It looks like it. I can tell from the background. Luke, new friend. It's really good to meet you. Tyler was saying y'all are buddies, so I trust Tyler's judging character. So you're a new friend by my book, brother. It's great to have you on. Tyler, why don't you introduce yourself to anyone who doesn't know you?
My name's Tyler Thompson. I am a peer advocate here in Arkansas. I work for Speak Up About Drugs. I also am living in long-term sobriety from mood-altering, mind-altering substance. I run a men's group called Ride for Recovery. I don't really run it. You know, God kind of runs it, or my higher power, but it's become everything in my recovery, my life. So it's kind of where I am. And my job, I got a good job working in the recovery field. And like tonight we had a whole health class talking about different ways to talk about recovery versus, you know, just a book. We talked about getting healthy, eating healthy, hobbies, stuff like that. So it's a journey and it's fun. So
that's awesome. And y'all are coming from Arkansas, correct?
Yes, I am. Luke's in Branson. He's from Arkansas. He grew up with me, and he's back in Branson in recovery there.
That's awesome. Luke, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone that doesn't know you?
All right, man. My name's Luke. I'm from Arkansas. I'm currently in Missouri right now at a program called Standing by the Door. I was had 18 months clean and sober. I had a relapse here recently, but had a bad relapse, about 90 days. And then at Thanksgiving, I shot back up to a program and jumped back in because I know this works. And I knew what I had to do because I'm an IV drug user. I've been using heroin for a lot of years. And whenever I got this thing the last go around, it just using wasn't the same again. So getting back in recovery and getting back in the fellowship was very, very important to me. And luckily, I've got a good group. I've got a good structure and system around me. Tyler, Miss Gina, all the people who speak up about drugs. They've been really good to me, and they've shown me a path that's really helped me kind of pave my way. So it's been a blessing to have them in my life. And recovery is a huge thing for me because, you know, I watch not necessarily just me, but just be the fellowship amongst the people. I like being back up here, you know, even though I want to be back home with my family in Arkansas. I got a wife, a kid, dog, a nice little house there. But I'd rather be up here with these guys, fellowshipping, talking recovery every day, living recovery every day, and just kind of getting back in the feel of things and God's so good. He's been really good to me, and just trying to make it work, man. So glad to be here tonight. This is awesome, man. Thank you.
That's good, man. We're happy to have you on, and I just want to thank you for the sheer honesty, the upfrontness, the openness about dealing with relapse in such a what sounds like to be grateful and humble way. So that sort of authenticity is what we strive for here at McShin, and I think it's the most successful way to recover. They say honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, and there's a reason that honesty comes first. So I appreciate you coming forward like that, Tyler. I'm from us speaking. I don't want to air out your stuff too much, but I think that's part of your story a little bit. Can you guys maybe speak on getting back on the horse and how tough it can be? I know around this time of year, a lot of people are going back out and coming back, and a lot of times they don't come back or they pass for good. Can you guys kind of speak on that experience a little bit? I think there's probably a few people out there who could really use some advice, because I know the shame and guilt can be overwhelming, but it is important to understand that this is a community that accepts us for all flaws and mistakes that we have. Tyler?
First I'm trying to think what to say, but I without kind of doctored up, first thing that comes to mind is today we went riding. It's like the third or fourth day. We've been 12-15 mile rides every day, and today I had a guy tell me he doesn't, he's in my group, went to school with him, don't even know him, and he's in my group. He has no drug history, and it's like, and he tells me, he's like, man, I'm really glad we got this group of guys and that we can help each other, and it's a group of girls as well, but it was us guys riding today, and he said, he goes, I struggle with severe depression, man. And he goes, I don't know, honestly, if I'd have made it through the holiday, especially with COVID and with the waiting for this program, he goes, I don't understand the drug stuff, but it got me thinking, we're all different, and it's I know it's not like the COVID or not with the holidays, but I think we had 4 people die in 9 days in Arkansas last week, and I can say it because it's true. You know what I mean? And it's on diet, from cut fentanyl. And it is bad right now. And I think the people that are staying connected, but we've got resources. We're offering, and we're putting ourselves out there. Like Luke knew what to do. You know what I mean? He would lie to me, and I just wouldn't go around because I know he's lying. So it hurt, but I knew he was ready. And I think that the people that stay plugged in and like stay showing up, like tonight we had class and people didn't want to be there, but they're still coming for a reason. You know what I mean? This is optional, and it's something's working. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I think it's kind of like one of those scenarios where I feel like I do in my daily life, but in that sort of scenario, it's done to such a high ability. We got to do the shit that we don't want to do, that we need to do. I don't like doing dishes. I don't like paying my bills, but to have a successful life, especially one in recovery, it is calling my sponsor. It is calling these people in my network. It is showing up to a meeting. It is, I don't always like to do a podcast. I was really excited to meet Luke and Tyler. I hadn't seen you in a minute, but there are opportunities where I'm like, I'm tired. I had a long day. I don't know if I want to do this. And then as soon as I get into it and start doing it, I feel grateful for it. I feel better for it. And I know other people do also. So I think that's a very fair point, Tyler. Luke, I guess what are your thoughts? What are you going to try to do differently this time? Was there something specific that happened? Was it just kind of like the holiday, seasonal affective stuff, or what do you see kind of changing different for you this time? Luke, did you hear me, buddy?
Well, I'll touch on the holidays with addiction, man.
Sure.
It's a really rough time for people. You're in recovery. Yeah, do you get me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're kind of coming in and out.
So the holidays, man, is a really tough time for people for what they did. It's all right, you got me now?
Yep.
You're kind of coming in and out, yeah.
All right.
Hello?
You're good. Yep.
All right. What about now? You got me?
Yeah, now's a little better. Yeah, well, I know that.
Okay, there we go. Can you hear me now? All right.
Yep. All right, go ahead.
I think there might be a bit of like a lag on your end.
Holidays are for people in addiction, all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's messing up the whole time. But
yeah, it's fine.
I'll
just keep
talking.
Just keep...
Let me,
okay.
up.
Yeah.
Basically the holidays are a tough time for addiction, man. That's not necessarily what happened to me, but what I like to tell these guys who feel like they need to go home and like they need to be with their family and things like that. It's just like, your family needs you here in recovery more than your family needs you at home, because when you're not there, you're using, you're clouded. It's you may be there, but you're not present as far as mentally. So it's a deal for you to be struggling with something that you struggle with pretty regularly. Being in one of these programs or are making your AA classes or working with Tyler as far as getting for recovery, getting out there and being with the fellowship is a good thing. And because holidays are rough, you see a lot of people go. I've seen a lot of people go up here in Missouri the past few weeks. We didn't lose too many over Christmas, but we still lost a couple, and it's a rough time. But as far as to answer your question about doing it different this time, man, I didn't. It's the second I relapsed, I knew where I needed to go and what I needed to do, and I wasn't happy. I mean, from day one. So I knew what I had to do and where I needed to be, and it was here with just kind of getting back in the swing. Because honestly, I don't like to live my life getting high anymore. I like to live for Christ and keep going.
Yeah, that's good, man. I think that's something that I think. Yeah, I think that's something all three of us have in common is this higher power piece for sure. I hear it when you speak, Tyler, and definitely when you speak, also, Luke. And how did you find your higher power, Tyler? Was that something that came to you in just like an aha moment? Was that something that you had to actively seek out? I know kind of everyone has a different experience with that.
It's a good one, man. I never really messed with God, man, because I always knew he was real. Like I'd pray for like materialistic bikes and his girlfriend one time. Like I remember crazy shit. And I just stopped as I started getting high and stealing and doing bad shit. Like I stopped because I knew something, like, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't mean to be egotistic, but I feel smart, like something different's going, something more, like, and I really didn't want to mess with it. And then once I caught my first bit at 17, my parents made me go with these preachers in Missouri, and they baptized me in the Elk River. And I was wasted on promethazine and Percocet, and I knew it was wrong. And I knew that praying to get me out of this trouble. And I was like, I don't even want to get high. I still want to get high. Like, I'm not scared to go to, I don't want to go, but I don't want to go to jail, but I don't want to stop getting high. And so I didn't mess with God for a while. And this last time when I was in county jail, man, it's like a preacher wrote me and told me to read 1 John for 30 days. And he told me to read it the first day and write like a page about it, and then read it for 30 days and write a page again. And I did that. And 3.5 years in and out, in prison between two states. I got transferred from Missouri to Arkansas, 3.5 year bit that time. And I was getting high on K2 from shooting meth for the first time in prison. It was a long ride, but when I would go to the hole, I would I would get with God and I would start praying. And, when I got out this time, I almost committed suicide, man. I got hold of some meth, and it was cut with bath salts. And I did not see the point in living anymore if I could not wake up with the obsession of the mind to tell me I need to fucking get high today, man. I need to get high, and I want to get high because nobody's going to like me. I'm an asshole when I'm not. And well, hell, that's all true anyway. If I'm high or not high, all this stuff, so it was just a big mess. And that's where my higher power came in. And it's like, I got into a good church when I got home, but when I got into the program, like a dude took my AA book, because like I was just wigged out in my head, and he took my Bible and handed me an AA book, and he was like, "Look, man, start reading this, and it will help you get to that Bible." And he's like, "Are you really ready to go to any lengths?" Because I done went to treatment and was halfway through it and relapsed when my grandma died, and I relapsed on her fentanyl after the funeral. And I thought, well, fucking, she see me die. She was sober, and I still had all this. I was still holding on to these pride things and about me. And I broke myself getting high again, and that's when I almost committed suicide with the bath salts. And and I went back, and he was like, "Look, man, no more girls. Like, give me your car keys, give me your fucking phone, all that shit. Are you really ready to go through? You ready to go to anything? Like, seriously?" And like, I didn't know how I would not steal Degree deodorant from fucking Walmart. I'd never pay for that. Never. You hear me? Like, seriously, like, and I had to have a total life change. And I was ready to do it because I just didn't want to die in prison alone, man. Like 3.5 years, not one letter, nothing. And that's exactly what God, my higher power, needed to do for me. And now today, it's getting better each day. And my best friend told me this one time when he was good. When I first left treatment, he was still there, and I was scared. It was hard at first. You know what I mean? It was hard. And he told me, if you're not checking your phone to pray before you check Facebook, and that still weighs on me today. Like, I don't need to look at my phone if I'm not praying or getting in connection with my higher power. And I do. That's what I have to do today. That's the biggest part, is because I have to get out of self. I have to, whatever your will is today, put it in my life. Like, is it to wash my brand new truck today and be happy? And then my buddy call and say, "Hey man, I need you move a washer and dryer." And my other buddy coming over to look at bikes. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come help you, man. Truck gets dirty. Buddy don't get to play with bikes, but we go help another buddy." And it's like, that's God's will. You know what I mean? I get paid to do it, and I get paid in the kingdom. I get paid inside. And it's like, I don't want to eat Percocet. I don't want to eat a Xanax.
No, absolutely. What I'm hearing a lot is the getting beat down to a point where their only option are whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hear like you were doing some sincere homework, and you were taking as many suggestions and putting it into action. And that's what I tell people when they first come into this program. I say, be positive and be coachable. That's and don't get high. Those are kind of like three go-tos. If you can at least be coachable, then you can build from there as a foundation. I really appreciate that, Tyler. That's solid stuff, man. Just to switch gears a little bit, Luke, we started a little later today because you were dealing with a bit of a situation at your house. Would you like to explain what happened? I think there's a lot of cool stuff that we could talk about from what Tyler was telling me about. You don't have to, but I think it could be a good opportunity to kind of maybe break stigma of addiction and talk about a lot of things that us with this disease deal with a little bit. Can you hear me, Luke?
Probably, and the police probably got him hemmed up. Tater.
Probably got hemmed up right now.
Yeah. The police were, if he can't, I don't know, did he drop? The police were just at his house. Somebody stole a vehicle at the sober living house he was at, apparently, and the police have got him all there or something. Is what?
Yeah, that is wild.
Hey, Tater, is that you?
Well, yeah, I guess kind of what I'm looking for is like I have to deal with police a lot more often now. I mean, we have an alarm system here at the facility that I work at, and if something happens here at the church, the alarm company calls me, and it's putting me in scenarios where I've had to speak with the police a few times. And the weird thing that happens is I'm so used to not talking to police or talking to police in a situation where I know I'm in trouble. So I don't know if you've had to deal with this, Tyler. Luke, I know that you have recently because of this situation. Is that a different experience? Does your reaction still pivot or still automatically go to this cop is the enemy? or how are experiences like that now? Tyler, do you have any experiences with that?
Man, I still get hot in my chest and my armpits get sweaty when I got to go to the police department to talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to talk to a detective that's busted me my whole life. I believe he had a screensaver that came up anytime I was arrested in Benton County. Mark Jordan would have something come up on his computer and say, "Do not arrest him unless I'm there," because he's manipulative. And I had to call him today because I need some help, and like with a juvenile situation, you know what I mean? I needed some help. And he was out of town, you know what I mean, due to COVID with the family incident. And I still over the phone get hot, like, you know what I mean? What if, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, you're tripping, you know what I mean? Like that's, you know what I mean? So I just, but with my job though, it's like weekly, you know what I mean? If whether it be juvenile probation, whether it be doing court advocacy work next to a judge and a bailiff, you know what I mean, or DHS. So it's like it's getting easier every day. I actually think that's one of my biggest things is the stigma between this side of the fence and this side of the fence. You know what I mean? They say pick a side of the fence. Well, there's a lot of people like me that just fucking don't know how, whether it be on this side or this side. Why, you know what I mean? Why can't there be somebody in the middle that says, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like, why can't we break this and work together to, you know what I mean? I'm not saying snitch on each other and set people, saying, why can't we come up with some type of getting into the jails, going and talk and giving back? You know what I mean? It's just that it's 2020, man. There's a whole lot to this. You know what I mean? People are getting stimulus checks. People are fucking pressing Xanax with fentanyl in them right now. You know what I mean? I love Xanax. I love Xanax bars, but I can't take them. You know what I mean? Because I'll go to jail. And it just scares me because I got a 9-year-old daughter, and you know, I see it on my poor boss's face, and you know, I watch people that come to group, and I want to help, and I think that's one of the biggest things is in jail because, you know, I'm working with the juvenile that just likes to smoke pot, and then he runs when the cops come because he's out after curfew. Well, he ain't doing nothing wrong, you know what I mean? But he just runs because it's the cops. Like, well, you know, why? You know, and where can I kind of breach a gap there? Where, you know what I mean? So I think that's important right there.
Yeah, it's tough. So we got Luke dealing with some technical difficulties. So Tyler and I are just going to keep it moving. Yeah, it's tough. I feel like the system is kind of designed to create these systemic differences. You know, whether it's addict or criminal. A lot of times those two are paired together as he's a drug addict, he's a criminal, or when really he's a sufferer of a disease and needs to be treated. I remember, I don't know if you know this, but I had to go to jail for a couple weeks from the 4th to the 19th this month. And being able to sit there and watch how, in a very clear, in my opinion, state of mind, clearer than I've ever been in jail, going to jail about a year clean. These COs don't give a shit about you a lot of times. A lot of them are on a power trip and they don't want to help you. And it is just a clear, anytime someone would ask for something, hey, can I get like, you know, an extra COVID mask or why are you acting this way? They'd say, well, why are you here? Every single time their cop out was maybe don't come to jail next time. And so all I felt like we were perceived as was criminals. And that was it. And it was just so awful to watch. But at the same time, it made me, you know, grateful that I have a life to look forward to when I get out, because a lot of these people that are in jails don't. And it also made me realize that self-governance is really important, that if I follow, you know, morals, in my example for who I am, like Christian morals, respect other people, love your neighbor, do the right thing, you end up not pissing people off, and it makes it the most enjoyable experience it can be. But I feel like if everyone had some sort of recovery moral code, it could be a little more impactful in life. I mean, I am very advantageous to be in recovery compared to, I think, a lot of other people. Do you agree with that?
I do. I love to tell them, man, like, I don't want to say God's watching. I like to say, just do it when no one else is watching. You know what I mean? Like, do the right thing when no one else is watching. Like, early in recovery, man, when I worked at that resort in Branson, that first time that I went into that room and there was a bowl of tramadol that guest had left, got my higher power gave me a choice of free will right then with my first real test that I ever passed. And I walked out and got my boss and I told him, hey man, I don't know what you're going to do, man, but I'm a fucking addict, dude. And if I go back in that room, I'm going to steal them pills. I'm going to probably catch another charge. And I can't do it, man. And man, I got to keep my job. I gained some friends. I didn't take the pills and I immediately hit the golf cart, man, to go to another room. And I got like this muscle in my chest and I was like, all right, man. And, it felt good. It was like a little baby step that I made, and I bumped my ass since then and I fell in back and I've moved forward. And, but I start to think about the CEOs, like you said, did all of them in telling people what to do? I don't know. You know what I mean? But I find early on, maybe they get tired of that manipulating shit and the stuff that they come into, because I start to find myself in my group going, God, what am I doing? Even like, and I have to stop and think, man, no, you told God that you would do whatever whatever he put in life, your will. You got a new truck, a house, your bills are paid. Your will is to guide this group to work with these addicts, is to bear this weight on your shoulders, remember? And I think that's where like the CEOs maybe think, oh, well, they don't. And they just keep going with this, oh, fuck, this job sucks. And these idiots are all manipulative assholes. And they just come back and use their moms for commissary money and are going to get out and steal and get high again because they see that over and over. You know what I mean? And that's where I think getting into the correctional facilities is what's up. I've taken 20 treatment facility. I've done probably that many certificates in my jacket in the Arkansas Department of Corrections, and every one of them, I mean, it's the same thing. But would it have worked if I was ready? I don't know. You know what I mean? I wouldn't take back one day for where I am today. So, but I do want to get in and try to help things up, shook them up. You know what I mean? Because there's the recidivism rates off the chain. You know what I mean? People are dying.
It's sky high right now, honestly, and I really appreciate you talking about the importance of going in those cells, because as much as I badmouth CEOs and the punitive system in general, we are the ones that perpetuate those stereotypes. That know the CEOs by first name, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. So it is important that we get clean, go in there and say, you can't pigeonhole me, because now I'm so and so years clean, and I'm here to try to help other people see that there's a better way than, getting back on the street and getting high before you even leave the parking lot when you get out of jail. I know plenty of people who've gone through that story.
Yeah, I mean, even if I've got it, man. I just need to print out these little flyers, and I want to put them up by the bondsman, and they got the different bondsmen in the area, and then the halfway houses or whatever they have. I'd like to have it there. Like, look, man, local or not local, if you're on parole or not, I'm in the area. We're in the area. We'd love to help. I just, you know what I mean? I know different areas and are different, and poverty and this, and it's I get it, but I want to do what I can, and I feel like if I continue to ask God, and then I just get asked to come do this in the middle of the day, and I say, yeah, hold on, honey, can I do? Yeah, I can do it. You know what I mean? And then driving home, it's like, yeah, that's God's will. I'm doing it. Like I'm doing it. I'm staying clean. I'm doing it. I'm not stealing at Walmart. You know what I mean? I'm paying all my bills. I'm not manipulating women. I'm not lying. You know what I mean? I'm working on my ego, my motives. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot.
It is a lot, and I think you're one of the perfect people to talk about it being a lot with, because your pathway involves kind of the whole person, is what we call it around here. Is that nutrition, health and wellness, mindfulness, meditation, step work. I mean, you're really in your recovery, I see a prime example of, there's no prototypical recovering person, but I think your pathway looks very whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do podcasts and I work in recovery and I practice a 12-step program. I don't work out. I don't eat healthy. I have a connection to my higher power, but how important is that whole person mentality? Is that something for everyone? Can you explain it a little bit?
I would say that it is, just like if it's not just, I mean, it would be like asking me, do you think every human being should have to work an honest fourth step before they can cash their stimulus check? I would say that would be amazing. That would be amazing. And I think that's kind of the same thing. You know what I mean?
That's a good example.
Is that kind of right, Alex?
I don't know. You tell me. I mean, I just know that, like, everyone recovers differently, and the way that you recover is impressive to me because it is these bike programs. It is working on nutrition with other people. I was just wondering if you could kind of speak on it, because a lot of times people don't have these sort of options. A lot of people are given a basic text and say, this is how you recover. You know what I'm saying? So I was just kind of wondering if you could speak on those multiple pathways that you've tried and that you use currently.
Well, so I would say when I first got home, it was hard because I was in confined. I went from prison to being in CORE in Branson, which is the treatment facility that I went through. And you know what I mean? They had rules, like I had a curfew, everything. And then I got home and that was all stripped away. And I had to have a job. I was going to get a job, and I was going to find meetings and go to meetings and be a sponsor and maybe try to teach somewhere. I don't know. Maybe go to school. And I started volunteering and got a job with Miss Gina, where first Speak Up About Drugs and now a peer advocate. And I'm going on my second year, and it's now it's I would think last couple months ago, we got into fight, and I got so mad in the truck that I like blacked out, and I had to realize that I got fucking anger issues still, man. I do, and I don't want to admit that. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you admitting it now.
I'm prideful and I'm egotistic still, man, and I still have to check my motives. Like, you know what I mean? What are you doing right now? Like, so I had to tell my boss, hey man, I need to talk to you. She's like fucking calling me like, oh fuck, he's in jail or he's strung out or he's, and I'm like, no, I got some fucking anger, and I black out, and I want to say fuck it and go just get in my truck and just go do me, or go. And I know that's not, you know what I mean? I get these thoughts in I feel like I'm my mom, you know what I mean? And all this stuff again. And she's like, well, we need to meet. And she showed me this app called Calm about this breathing exercise. And, as silly as I think that shit is, sitting around and breathing and stretching and shit, it works for me, man. It works for me. And, like I just kind of get in my head, and I just like started breathing with her and started doing exercises, and from stopping smoking cigarettes, like, okay, if I can go, no, I'm going to the pharmacy to get some pills and I'm not sick off dope sick no more, then okay, then that's in my head. All right, well then I want to quit smoking cigarettes. All right, well now I need to quit monsters. Okay, well I'll quit monsters. But see, I'm still fiddling with something. It's like, oh, well, then I'll just have coffee. You know what I mean? It's like, if I'm constantly chasing something, then, you know what I mean? So I'll be 37 years old tomorrow. And I tell Jesse all the time, I feel like I'm slowing down. Like, I just want to take a breath. You know what I mean? Like, just slow down and know that I'm content. Like, hell, last year I just stopped carrying money with me in case I went to jail, so I would have commissary money on my books. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, you know what I mean? It's just messed up. But today, like, we've rode 4 or 5 days straight. We at least do 10 to 15 miles a day. Me and one other guy, or me and none of the guys, or the guys without me. And it's an important part of our program. Like I said, there's several people that aren't even addicts that, you know what I mean? That's normal people or it's co-occurring or neither, or, you know, there's something there that when I get done riding that bike, my legs hurt, my body hurts in areas that I do. But when I don't ride it, or I don't get out and get active, or I don't start challenging different things in my head, like, and I'm not saying that that's everybody's recovery. I'm just saying that I find that it works. I find, and I'm going to be honest, when I started going to these men's meeting, when I came home, I was like, I'm going to go to this old men's meeting out in Bella Vista because it's all old men. There's none of these young girls there. I'm going to have none of that temptation shit. I want to be able to really do this. Like, I'm just being real. I know me, and I can't get over on all. You know what I mean? I was just in a hard spot coming home, man. Like, I was in a sheltered environment for 18 months. And I heard this dude, he's like, I'm just so glad to be able to live out my steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and come in these rooms every day. And I thought, yeah, me too, man. And I thought, well, that's fucking crazy. That's not my will. My will's not just to come to these meetings every day. Why would you just say that's okay, Tyler? And I thought, yeah, you're right. That's not my will. So what is it? And I thought, and this is before I even worked for Gina or anything. I thought, man, I want to do more. Like, I'm looking at ways this meeting could be tightened up. I'm looking at things we don't have in the area. Like, and then, you know, COVID hits and a friend pushes me to get a mountain bike because of my passion for BMX bikes and the whole trail system that's been here the whole time. And, you know, tying that together and meeting I've got whole friends that I wouldn't dream of in my life today. You know what I mean? My job's now my life, like, because of this writing group. It's just combined the two. And I'll tell you right now, I fuck anything up that I try to do myself. Somebody else is doing all this for me, and it's not.
No, that's beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just, it's getting better. You know what I mean? I do eat like crap a lot, but like, I'm trying to drink water because we each had to work on goals and tell our partner in class tonight. Like, that shit works. Like, just put it on paper and leave. Like, no, read it. And then I'm going to tell you, we tell each other. And he's like, well, throw your soda away. Here, takes it and throws it away. And I'm like, he's like, only eat half the cake and throw it. And I'm like, what, dude? I mean, water. And I'm like, okay, bet. All right. You know, then what are you going to do? And it's like, you know, if it works for right then, if it doesn't, it's, you know, but we're staying active and we're trying.
Mm-hmm. And the best way to do that is with other people is what I'm hearing you say. You know what I'm saying? Is not, you know, goal setting is important. Speaking those goals aloud and having people that are going to hold you accountable and pick up, you know, that monster and throw it in the trash can and hand you a bottle of water is just as important. I wanted to mention, we got a lot of good comments throughout this episode. I really appreciate all participating. A couple that jumped out for me personally was John here was saying repositioning your pastimes and looking for new forms of entertainment is very useful. Like, finding activities that you can lose yourself in, looking forward to will help you get through the stresses you find in your day-to-day race. I have found that extremely useful. I can definitely just get lost in working. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I worked in restaurants and then I would just go out drinking afterward, or I'd go out partying afterward. And any hobbies that I had, I did high or using at the exact same time. So it's really important that I've now found, you know, different things to do or have created new sober memories with those things that I used to do. I could not imagine, you know, going to a concert very early in recovery if it weren't for other people that said we can do this together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go to a show at a venue and not feel my skin crawling as I very slyly get closer and closer to a bar. There are people around there that can say, you know, we'll get through it together. We'll smoke some cigarettes and we'll have fun. That's the important part. It's not about just doing things to pass the time or be entertained. It's part of my personality. The things that I'm into are part of who I am. I can sit there and watch a movie with my girlfriend, talk about it afterward, and then move on to a next one without just like feeling like I'm creating something to pass my time or keep myself busy. You know what I'm saying? I can be present.
with just like mountain biking, people's like, you're fucking crazy going off them drops. And yeah, but okay. And I didn't just get crazy. Like,
Yeah.
like I wrote, but it's kind of like recovery. You know what I mean? So I have to tell, like 2 days ago, I did not want to go riding, but I knew my buddies were already getting up and going. That right there worked. It pushed me to go, but it's the same thing for working out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It would be the same thing from working out. Like, or man, I'm not gonna, that's cool. That works for them. I'm going to need to be on Suboxone the rest of my life. I'm always going to have, my back's hurt worse than yours are all, that shit's all in your head. If you say it's in your head, like if I say I want to get up and go work, I want to start mountain biking. Well, then, you know what I tell people, man, if you could come with us, man, 3 days a week, but even if I can get you for 2 days a week for like an hour and a half, you know what I mean? We can get 10 to 12 miles we like to do. Man, I'm telling you, you're going to start feeling it in your heart, and you're going to start like, because it means a lot to me, because secretly I need them to show up, because it's very vital for my recovery as well right now in my life. Like it's the cycling, but it's the camaraderie and fellowship that comes along with it. It's being dependable, and it's being the fact that they depend on me to take care of their fucking bikes, to haul their asses around, to, you know what I mean? I sometimes I have no clue what's going on, and I have to stop and think, like, I've come a long way and I need to embrace this, but it's still okay to ask for help and guidance. You know what I mean? It's a lot to this whole recovery journey. But we work with a local nonprofit that we found locally that we can like help people get bikes. You know what I mean? Free bikes to get them on the trails. Some of them get a bike. We don't hear from them no more. Some of them break 3 of them now. We've got some knuckleheads that are on their 5th one they break, but they're still riding, and they're riding to work. But we've started a group message with, people come and go weekly, but there's a set group of 12 to 15 of us that stay in there, and night and day, if a truck's broke down or somebody's sleeping or somebody wants to sneak off and go fuck around a little bit, you know what I mean? They can, if they have the kind of the nuts to say, all right, man, look, I'm kind of wanting to mess around, man. You know what I mean? Or if you just want to go mess around and just not say nothing. And that's where I can't help everybody. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm really stuck, Alex. Like, yeah, I want to get in the jail, and yeah, I got 2 people calling that needs treatment with no insurance and no money. Yeah, there's people dying. You know what I mean? My office is covered in test strips and fentanyl and Narcan, and but it's God's will, and I love my job. It's fun. You know what I mean? It's my life.
No, absolutely. And that's something that I struggle with too. Before we kind of talk about that, I wanted to say that, Samantha in the comments section was touching on that. She said, building bonds and positive activities. That's kind of it in a nutshell. I think is what I was hearing you say is people depend on you, you depend on people. It's kind of like recovery 101 right there. I think the symbolism in your storytelling about, people breaking their bikes. Sometimes people get a bike, they don't come back, that's very allegorical to recovery at the end of the day. Some people come into an RCO to get out of jail, then you don't see them after a week. And some people will come in and they'll stumble five or 6 times, but that 7th time they might get it. So yeah, the fentanyl strips, there's a lot of stresses, and I feel like there's never enough funding that comes to the recovery community. And it kind of puts me at a loss sometimes. At the same time, it's like, we can't help everyone. Sometimes I just got to focus on the person in front of me. When we get frustrated, Tyler, when you get frustrated, what kind of key? I know you've said it's not your will, it's God's will. Is that kind of like the main motivation for when you get frustrated, or is it just like, I have to do this? This is my purpose. This is something bigger than me. Kind of like, what keeps you going when we're at kind of a loss for words or frustrated, whether it's our own recovery or focusing a lot of energy on someone else's recovery who doesn't seem to want it as much?
I mean, when I get frustrated, I mean, if as far as recovery goes, I mean, I hate that glare. As far as recovery goes, I'm kind of past the point. I feel like I'm not saying I'm good. I feel like when I find myself lately, it's not like, do I sneak over to my grandma's and steal an oxy? Do I go over to this house and get a tramadol? Do I go there and get these? it's not like that anymore. It's when I get frustrated, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I letting myself get so stressed out? Why do I have to get so OCD? Why do I have to feel like I have to have everything figured out? You know what I mean? You need to stop and slow down. Like, because I over the years I've shook and got mad and I've cried and been depressed. I've tried it. And so it's like, and I still feel like I'm falling short. Like like I said, I want to slow down. I want to find a good neutral spot in my life where I can pull in my driveway and everything's okay. And I can pet the dog when I walk in, and, everything's just, that might happen once a month, but that's just my life. Like, I'm not in jail right now. Like, I'm not standing in a fucking pill line waiting to get a pill in county jail, wondering if they're going to pull me to prison in the morning. You know what I mean? Or wondering if I'll get the paper after the essays at their table tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I can see who got arrested. I don't have to live like that. I have choices today. And that's what I have to remember. Like, it's not, I honestly, I can say that. It's not like, fuck, I'm just going to say fucking go do an Oxycontin. That's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Or I'll go get put on Suboxone. And it's not like that anymore. And it has lately, or in the past couple months before, with my anger, it's been like, oh my God, why am I just, you know what I mean? But I also have to remember, I'm still early in recovery. You're talking 3 years. You know what I mean? I'm early into this. You're 15 and a half years in and out of prison. You know what I mean? Since I was 17. So I just kind of had my life was supposed to be like that. So I have to kind of try to remember that. And, but it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, I get frustrated, and the first thing I want to do is just get fucking mad and figure out, what am I doing? Why did I do this? Why did I put myself out there when I know I got to be here and I got to be over there? And it's like, man, you got to chill. You just got to chill out, bro. You got to chill out. You know what I mean? You got this. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, Alex. I pray, man. I get upset. I've got to pray, man. And I don't know if you want to call it meditating or asking for guidance, but I don't want to manipulate people. I don't want to steal from no stores or people. I don't want to hurt anybody. And I don't want to do any more drugs, man. And what I'm doing is working. And I don't know if it's just because I outgrew the shit, or it's because I found a good program and it's working. But you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Something's working.
Something is, and I can't always explain it sometimes. So I just chalk that up to what I call the big guy. What I think I've heard people are motivated by two things. And that is either a fear of not getting what I want, or a fear of losing what I have. And that second one is my main motivation. Right now, I have like more intact relationships, responsibilities, and goals that I've been able to achieve. And I know personally that as soon as I succumb to those anxieties and fears of the the fuck-its, that's when all that stuff starts going out the window. That's what I was talking about earlier on a pod, is like, this is one of the first times I've been able to look at a decent, this is the most money I've ever had in my bank account ever, like in my entire life. And it's a green number. It's not a red one with a negative sign right in front of it. And I've never been a money motivated person. And my mom has kind of chalked that up to maybe because you never had enough money to be money motivated. And I still don't consider that. That isn't something, a moniker of success to me. A moniker of success is I get to walk 2 blocks away from where I work to an apartment that I pay bills on with a girl that I love. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I get to communicate and see my son weekly, if not every 2 weeks. I mean, there's no way I was able to sustain those sort of things when I was using. But that I appreciate you saying, just like I do, this shit isn't always easy. If it was, everyone would be clean, man. And it's really appreciative having all these comments continuously popping up, because that's part of why I do this is one, it helps me. This is like, well, I hate to say it, but this is part of my pathway to recovery, man, is being able to sit here with you, another person with this disease, and having other people listen and not feel alone. I mean, this is how I recover a little bit, man.
I mean, here's the deal. I have people in my group that take kratom. I have people that are on medical marijuana, and people don't understand. Me and Alex met. I mean, he's in West Virginia and I'm in Northwest Arkansas, right?
Yeah,
So
we're in Virginia.
Virginia. I flew out and stayed there and went to a training there. And so we're all the way across state to state. But when I'm in their state, I find out that they have treatment that involves marijuana and kratom. You know what I mean? Correct?
We there are greenhouses here that not McShin. We're not allowed to have kratom or marijuana, but there are marijuana houses, and there are people that I have met who are 25 years clean that smoke weed every day because it prevents them from putting a needle in their arm.
Yeah, and I have to be open-minded because of where I feel about kratom, where I feel it almost fucking killed me. You know what I mean? It still plays effects on my body, but that's not for somebody. I didn't also kick heroin. You know what I mean? So coming there opened up a huge spot. I walked in and met John on a whim. I stopped to get some free lunch from my boss. You know what I mean? And met John, and he asked me, "Hey, asshole, you want to come stay at my house?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, I'll come stay at your house." You know what I mean? I'm thinking, maybe I'm right. The feds really they are watching me and want me to go, what's really going on? I just went with it. Like, okay, God, and here we are today. And maybe it was to meet you. Maybe it was to soften my heart towards kratom and greenhouses. Maybe it was to open up my mind towards the riots when they were happening while I was there, soften my views towards that. I don't know, man, but I'll tell you this. I never had anything like that happen to me when I was out in active addiction or in and out of prison. You know what I mean? Left and right, I'm getting asked to talk to people or meet people. And it's not because I feel like it's because I'm popular. I feel like, honestly, it's because I don't hit my knees. I'm not like that. I honestly feel like it's because I say, God, please check my motives, man. And I need help with my anger today. Like, seriously, my motives are jacked up. Like, I need help today. And I know that sounds crazy. Well, yeah, then why ain't I that lucky? I don't call it being lucky. You know what I mean? I had a really fucked up life. I had, you know what I mean? A really bad childhood. You know what I mean? And do I want to carry that today? No. Does it get painful when I talk to some other people and I want to say, you know what, man, it happened to me too when I was a kid, brother. You know what I mean? And I do. And God's put me in a program where I can work with kids and I can work with moms and I can work with dads. And you know what? It's helped me to process and get over it all myself on a daily basis without a substance, man. And it's like, so I would say, part of my getting healthy and holistic, or whatever you would call it, would be in staying active in my group, being held accountable and on a daily basis, waking up to check the group text, but praying before I even get on my phone. Like I'm still trying to get a set schedule, like eating right, working out right. Like but like I said, I'm early in my recovery, but it's not an excuse, but I feel like I'm good where I'm at, but I want to get neutral where I can just, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I hear a lot of like self-awareness, Tyler, and it's really refreshing to hear. One of the last things I want to leave with is because you kind of touched on it a little bit, and it's kind of a question I've been playing with in my mind. So I'd like your opinion and maybe anyone watching's opinion. So when I got clean, and still to this day, I have a lot of things that pop up, and I can't tell if they are necessarily my higher power speaking to me or kind of the mechanisms of the world coming to me, or if I've always been so self-centered, delusional, and high that I kind of just never noticed certain things going on around me, and kind of like how I play in that bigger picture. Do you think it's one or the other? If so, which one, or kind of what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that, a lot of things that we see nowadays and can play a role in are because we're clean and just a little more aware and clear headed to them? Or do you think it is something a little more spiritual?
It's hard because like today we're okay. We're moving something. And me and my buddy are like, man, fuck. And I'm like, I know, man, we went and did it. And we're, you know what I mean? We're doing the right thing. I'm like, even though we didn't have no tools and I would have had everything ready. And he's like, yeah, me too. And I'm like, but that's why we're different. That's why we're in the position we're in. You know what I mean? Dude, and then it's like, that's why he's not even a drug addict, but he's chose to be in the truck with me and come help me with another drug addict that just got out of prison. And it's like, but that's what's working for him in his life. And he's not even he's recovering from mental health, being a stay-at-home dad, you know what I mean, to a successful wife. Dude, it's recovery from everything. Like I said, everybody should work a fourth step, man. You know what I mean? Like it really should. And I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot to it.
Yeah, it's indescribable sometimes. I mean, we sit here and can talk for an hour on a podcast about this stuff, and I always bring something away, but I always feel like we're only scratching the surface sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like this is still only getting a lot of people don't know about recovery because it's something that has to be kind of like experienced to understand a lot of times. A lot of people, you know, for example, as you're saying, recovery of mental health is a very similar yet completely different thing. I don't know how to recover from a sex addiction or overeating or something like that, but I know what that feeling of being helpless is like that people deal with. So I don't know. I just think that like stuff like this is really important. And Tyler, your perspective and honesty is always appreciated and welcome. And I'm glad that, you know, God put you in my life, friend.
Yeah, dude, I'm happy to have it. Like I encourage people, like the program. I loved it there. I loved everything about it. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, I still feel that John has this plan, like him and Elvis Presley are sitting around with this like grand scheme of how everything's going to come together, and everybody will come out and say, you know, you're part of this bigger plan. But sometimes I really know that's not true. That this is just me doing my part to fight the war on drugs, man. You know what I mean? To try to educate my daughter and make sure that she's not put in the position to eat a handful of pills.
I think Todd's daughter's in the background telling us to wrap it up. Tyler, I do really appreciate you, brother. Hopefully we can get your buddy Luke back on with a little bit of a better connection next time. I'd like to connect with him a little more, and you know, hopefully we can continue to do maybe like monthly check-ins. I really love your perspective and your honesty and the way you work a program and help other people work a program and find some recovery and some resources is really beautiful to see and to be a part of. And I'm very fortunate to have you in my life. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Alex. That means a lot, man. I'm glad to be a part of this. I love everybody at the McShin. You know that. And tell them I got the shirts coming, man. Every time I think about it, I know I owe it.
Coming.
I know, dude. Like I want to say it's been busy, but I need to just go over to my bosses and pick them up and mail them because I owe you guys those shirts. I love that. I just still can't believe you guys took me in like that.
Well, we'll be waiting patiently. That's kind of like what we do around here. I also want to say happy early birthday. I think you said earlier that your birthday is tomorrow. So I'm glad you made it another one, clean and sober friendo. And Luke, we'll get you on next time. Big shout out to our producer, Todd. Thanks to all that watched and participated. I really appreciate all of y'all out there. Tyler, I love you, buddy. Todd, I love you too. Luke, I love, man. I love all of y'all. This has been Getting the Herd. Peace out.
Later, guys.
Here at McShin, we believe in the McShin way, which is authentic recovery support service providers, people with lived experience, bringing that experience to those who need that lived experience in recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in many things to support our mission. We believe in women empowerment.
What I love most about what we believe here at McShin is we believe in the authenticity of the peer-to-peer approach.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in giving people opportunity.
Here at McShin, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
At the McShin Foundation, we believe in helping people reach their full potential.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in multiple pathways to recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in placing principles before personalities to help spread hope.
Here at McShin, we believe that recovery is possible and that any person seeking recovery can become a more acceptable, responsible, and productive member of society.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in self-discovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in saving lives and offering second chances.
Here at McShin, we believe you can do this.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe that we can only keep what we have by giving away, which is why we continue to help others like us seek and find recovery.
Anywhere, we'll get there soon. We'll get there soon. We could be any place. We'll get there soon. We'll get there soon.
Tired of waiting, lost while I'm sitting at home. Dream of a new destination, lust for something unknown. Oh, you better leave it alone. And you know I'd rather get up and go. How long can I lie around waiting for it? Sometimes you gotta walk out the door. No limits, no ceiling, no crown. No pressure gonna hold me down. No stopping till I break every rule. No limits to what I can do. No, well, it's too far away. No border gonna stand in my way. No wall that I can't break through. No limits to what I can do.